How many times does he win fight of the night?
Every time. I mean, this guy comes to fight. If you're a fan, you gotta love him. You know, you absolutely have to love this guy's heart. The thing is, the on-paper people are going to tell you, hey, if it's standing, Perez wins. If it's on the ground, Morvan wins. They're wrong. You do not underestimate Eric Perez's wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and you better not underestimate Morvan's stand-up game.
Well, we'll see what Remi Morvan has to say about Eric Perez's ground game if he manages to take it there. But it's Morvan who decides to throw early.
Yeah, Morvan has a striking game. It's underestimated. Look at that. He's trying to sell Eric on the takedown right now, but Eric ain't biting. And if you can sell a guy on that takedown, you can land some punches against him.
Circling away is Remi Morvan in the black shorts. And again, he's trying to get this fight right down to the ground, and he does so. Close guard.
Eric put himself into a position to have a legitimate guillotine attempt here. Sometimes inexperienced guys will grab that head, but you can see that Perez is actually setting up a guillotine here. If he moves his hips, there'll be a real threat here.
Trying to snake his right arm underneath. And clasp his hands together. I think Morvan feels it.
Yeah, this is a threat. No question about it. You know, the Winnipeg Academy of Mixed Martial Arts is a bantamweight factory. They got Eric Perez, they got Roland Delorme, Curtis Brigham himself is a bantamweight, and they got other guys. And they got high-level jiu-jitsu guys. And Perez trains with them every single day. So as high-level as Morvan's jiu-jitsu is, this isn't going to be a surprise to Perez. I can hear Pat Cooligan in Morvan's corner. Very few coaches, very few cornermen better than Pat Cooligan at talking to his fighters, and they trust him so much. And then you hear Curtis Brigham. I don't know if you can hear it at home, but you hear him saying, "Don't blow your arms out right now, Eric." So both guys getting some good advice here, playing it very, very smart.
Morvan stuck in half guard as Perez looks to stand up.
It's an opportunity for some elbows there out of Morvan, but he used that position to kind of try to still prevent Perez from coming up and sort of initiate another takedown.
Solid job by Remi Morvan.
Yeah, but Perez is so far quite equal to the task. If we see Morvan get this pass here, that'll be a definitive moment. Oh, look at this.
He takes the back, looking for the arm lock. Can he get it here on Eric Perez? Will Remi Morvan be celebrating with some Remy Martin?
Very nice.
Huh?
Very nice. Yeah, and Perez is using what you can call the Perez escape, which is punch your way out of stuff.
Not a bad escape.
No, it works every time. As long as you can land those punches. Guys can't sit there and get punched in the face while they hold on to pretty submissions. And see Eric talking to him? That will throw you off for a moment there.
Well, you saw kind of a smile on Morvan, like, what is this guy doing?
I know,
talking to me.
It's pretty strange. I you know, like I said, I really wanted to get in and experience a fight with Eric because I'm such a fan of his. But it's pretty weird in there, let me tell you.
Open guard by Morvan.
And look at now, we see Perez on top, and he's looking to pass. But Morvan's looking to set something up. He's got his hips way out to the side here. It's another armbar or sweep opportunity.
Yeah.
See that right arm underneath there? That's looking for a sweep from there, possibly. Nice hip pressure.
Letter's trying to get out the back door, the side door. No, Perez, solid base.
Hard to say whose round this is, too. They both enjoyed some time on top.
I would still have to give it to Morvan. I think he did try to attack, and he struck from the top position, but there's still a minute left in this round, and Perez can change things. Referee Herb Dean feels that not enough action on the mat. Going to bring both fighters up, and this could favor Eric Perez.
Herb Dean is a fantastic referee. He likes the ground game. He understands the sport inside and out, and he'll let guys go. But if it takes a little bit long and there's no activity on the bottom and someone's tying it up, it's time to get back to the feet.
Hands up nice and high by Morvan.
Perez favors a straight right hand to a left hook combination. He really likes to throw that straight right. Oh, big shot to the body. It definitely hurt Morvan.
And Perez now ends up on top.
That kick to the body took a lot out of Remi Morvan. You can see by his movement now. He's in trouble.
And Eric Perez could steal this round. Now he takes the back momentarily.
Nice position here. He's going to look to get to the mount. He's semi-mounted. He's got back mount. Oh, he heard the 10 seconds and he thought maybe the round was over.
Oh, he could have sealed this round as he shoots right to the body. A triangle attempt, but the round comes to an end. And yeah, both guys loving this fight.
Yeah, both guys great competitors. Both guys, love to be in here. I'm curious as to that body shot, how that's going to affect Remi Morvan going forward in round 2.
Morvan does look like the fresher of the two fighters as he's sitting there. Some deep breaths by Eric Perez. And Robin, that's one thing that Perez has been kind of criticized for in the past is his conditioning.
Yeah, that's definitely been something that's been mentioned before. I think that Eric Perez has realized over the last year or so that, at 34 or whatever, mid-30s kind of range he still has an opportunity to go somewhere. And he has taken his training extremely seriously the last 2, 3, 4 fights with Curtis Brigham in his camp and his conditioning, all of it. And I don't think we're going to see him fade as this fight goes on. He used to be a guy you'd see a lot more at the parties than at the gym, but that has changed, and he realizes the opportunities that he might have in the next year or two in mixed martial arts.
Referee Herb Dean taking the center of the cage as we are ready for round number 2 from our main event. Remi Morvan in the black shorts, Eric Perez in the whitish shorts.
One thing we never really talked about at the end of that round, but when you think about it, Morvan is so good on the ground. You cannot over-exaggerate how good this guy is on the ground. But that, 4 minutes of that fight took place on the ground, and Perez, either held his own or won that round, and that changes, my view of this fight going forward.
I will say that I think that Perez really stole that round at the end. You have to give him credit. And now it's Morvan trying to use that takedown, and a solid job by Eric Perez to avoid the ground. Now he ends up in the butterfly guard of Remi Morvan.
Yeah, we've seen Morvan end up on the ground and just slam in a submission, and it's night over. And everybody, that might have been thinking that Perez was a brawler that's going to be in trouble on the ground, well, we're into minute 6, and he hasn't been in too much trouble. Nice positioning, good wrestling choices. He's on top here. But man, look at this setup here. It's going to try to set up this omoplata here as Morvan. And, this is a spot now where he's got many options from this position. Can go omoplata on one side or triangle on the other. Look at the positioning of Eric Perez.
Again, solid base by Perez.
Recentered himself and got out of that threat. We've also seen fights where Morvan has been losing the fight for a while, been lit up on the feet or been dropped, and out of nowhere the guy comes around and finishes it off. So you are never safe when you're fighting Remi Morvan. This guy's a talented dude.
And one way to tell is he rarely closes his guard. It's kind of just like we're seeing right now, constant offense. Moving his legs, moving his hips, trying to climb up high as he's looking for the omoplata. Going to be difficult to tap Perez with this, but at least it gets him to a better position. Solid job done by Remi Morvan.
Yeah, you'll also notice Perez hasn't really landed a lot of physical abuse from the top. That's because he's spending his time and his mental energy trying to stay centered and stay safe because of the active guard of Morvan. Now that the positions are reversed, let's see how this goes. But again, we're halfway through this fight, and Eric Perez is hanging with Remi Morvan on the ground.
And that's the problem, I think, Robin, with scoring in mixed martial arts. Right now, if this fight continues in this second round the way it is, there's a good chance that Remi Morvan is going to win this round. But as a whole, Eric Perez did more damage in that first round than Morvan has done control in the second round.
It's true, and we have 2 minutes left in this round, and somebody has to dictate how this round is going to unfold. There's an opportunity for a triangle here.
Morvan gets to Perez's, gets to half guard.
When you've got a Renzo Gracie black belt working with you every single day, you got to wake up pretty early to trick a guy, with a triangle setup like that.
Trying to pry the legs open and slide his right leg through the opening. Maybe look for full mount.
Look at this.
Nice pass to side control. Looking to step over the head, maybe isolate that arm.
Remi Morvan really starting to look good here. But Eric is not, in too deep a water here. He's making sound decisions everywhere. But right now, Remi Morvan's dictating round 2.
Morvan looking for knee on belly.
When he looks to mount here is where you might see Eric explode up.
And is he going to get caught in a guillotine choke? No, Perez slips out with 55 seconds left in the round.
Now, one thing that you pointed out, look at this. Herb Dean wants him to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
You pointed out early, you don't see Remi Morvan's guard really fully closed. And Perez has the option to get out and stand up at any time.
Very true. But I guess Perez, like you said, is comfortable no matter where the fight goes.
And he wants to show he's got skills everywhere, and he's showing that.
Both guys again jockeying for position. A big shot landed, and Morvan felt that.
Perez took his mouthpiece out and took a deep breath. Ooh, look at that. That was a right hand to the ribs. Same area where he got caught earlier with that kick. And it looked like it dropped him.
Morvan goes back to the stand-up position. And the round comes to an end. And again, a very close round, but I would have to give it to Morvan. I think he did enough. Perez landed a shot there at the end, but I think for the most part it was Morvan who was in control of, I don't know, not real action, but control of all the positions.
Yeah, very close round, tough round to score. Yes, Perez did a little bit more damage, and he did re-land a shot on that injury that it looked like Morvan took a bad kick earlier in round 1, and he landed the right hand to that again. So let's just see. Tough call, though. I think if you're either guy, you better finish this fight.
Absolutely, 100%. That's always the case. You never want to leave it in the hands of the judges. Unless you're Leonard Garcia.
Yeah, in which case you're going to win every time if you go to decision. There's so many fascinating things when you watch these fights unfold, but watching different coaches interact with different guys too. Right there, Curtis Brigham was, had a best friend kind of feel with Perez, whereas Morvan's coach is very serious. Nick Castiglia was very serious with him and talking to him very seriously. So, it's different for every guy. Ooh, nice leg kick there.
Last 5 minutes. Morvan lands the takedown right into side control. Perez fighting tooth and nail, trying to get up.
Where's the cross face and mount, Remi?
You hear Pat Cooligan calling for a crossface with that right arm and then move to the mount. And we see Perez has hooked up a half guard here. He's going to try to get out, slide his hips out to his right and get out on that side. There, he's moving it. Nice back step by Remi Morvan right there.
But Perez, good feel as he is able to get the fight down into Morvan's open guard.
Again, we said this at the beginning of this fight, but who was going to call for Eric Perez to look for takedowns and Remi Morvan to stand and bang at the beginning of rounds? I mean, these guys are well-evolved fighters. One may have a small advantage over another in a different area, but both guys, top-notch guys. Yeah, you hear Pat calling that Eric wants to get up. If Eric wants to get up, all he has to do is back out of that. Not anymore now with this little setup here, this high guard setup. But, there's that opening. He can get out the back door. But solid positioning. Smart, tactical choices by Eric Perez, shutting down, the high-level jiu-jitsu of Remi Morvan. And now Perez looking to pass. You know, I've had people where, you know, they're watching fights with you, and I always wonder why the later fights seem to last longer. And it's because when guys are evolved at this level, neither one of these guys are making any mistakes. Neither one of them. You know, you see right there, Perez looking for a pass, and Remi readjusting his hips, and Remi trying to set up that high guard to look for an omoplata, and Perez shutting it down. I mean, both these guys are making smart decisions everywhere along here.
Perfect example, go to a jiu-jitsu tournament, you see lots of submissions, lots of arm bars, triangles from the white belts.
Yes.
You go to the black belt division, you see none of that, or it's rare that you get a chance to see that.
Yep, because priority one is make sure that you don't make a mistake. Make sure you don't do anything wrong that's going to come back and haunt you. While doing everything right, slowly advance. And that's what Eric's doing right here. He's taking the opportunities that are presented to him. And
what he's done is he's taking control of this fight.
Yeah, I did hold the fence there for a little bit, but if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Herb Dean watching very closely. Perez trying to stay busy because you've got to do some damage here or you're going to get stood up. And right now you are winning this fight from this position, so you want to keep that going.
And Herb Dean, with 1:55 left in the round, decides to bring it back up to the feet.
Remi Morvan can sense that round 3 is slipping away, and he looked for that takedown. And if Eric Perez can stuff that takedown once or twice, he may get out of here again with maybe another fight of the night.
Perez, mouth wide open. It is going to be difficult to top the Eric Wilson, Roland Delorme fight for fight of the night.
That's for sure, man. For at least most inventive and creative fight of the night, that's for sure. What a great fight that was. What a great fight we're seeing here between these two. Remi pulled guard there when he met the resistance of Eric Perez's takedown, stoppage there, takedown defense. So he pulled it to the ground. He's got some desperation. He feels he's got to get a submission here, and he may be right.
Another loaded card from the CFC organization.
Man, what are we looking at? Almost 3 hours of fighting here on the Fight Network. I mean, sometimes you see a 10-fight card, you got 19, 20 minutes of fighting. We have seen so many great fights tonight.
As we are nearing the 30-second mark of the final round.
Remi Morvan doing everything he can to try to get something out of here, try to find a submission. And Eric is going to try to finish strong to try to ensure that he wins round 3 on the judges' cards.
Look for the up kick was Morvan. And we are getting close.
I'm surprised that Eric Perez doesn't just let him stand up here. But, you know, again, these fighters get smarter and smarter. And if those legs are there to be kicked, you want to kick them.
That's right. You punish your opponent. And Perez says, okay, bring it back up. But I think that will be the end of the fight. The bell set to sound any time. And kind of anticlimactic at the end. But it was a solid fight from start to finish. And to me, Eric Perez won this fight.
Yeah, I think he won it too. And we've seen Eric Perez knock guys out in exciting fights. We've seen him land, one-punch knockouts. We've seen him do all kinds of stuff. But tonight, he hung with a high-level Renzo Gracie purple belt, a top 10 fighter in Canada, in his element, and I think he won the fight.